Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. So in today's video, I am going to be showing you this really cool trick that will prove to you just how powerful your mind really is, okay? So I'm just going to get straight into it. The first thing you have to do is put your hands together. Make sure that, they're aligned. There's lines on your wrist that you can use to align your hands. So go ahead and do that, okay? I promise you this will blow your mind. Just wait for it. Okay, trust the process. Yeah, after you have done that, notice which hand is taller. Okay, notice which fingers are taller. For me, it's my left hand. Okay, and yeah, make sure to really straighten your fingers out so you can get an accurate gauge of which fingers are taller. Okay, so yeah, for me it's the left hand. Hopefully you guys can see that. So I'm gonna go ahead and tell my right hand to grow taller 7 to 8 times. Okay, so here we go. Grow taller, 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 grow taller. Okay, so now I'm going to go ahead and align my hands once again without thinking too much. I'm just going to use the lines on my wrist as measures or marks to do that. So yeah. Okay, did you see that? Did you see that? Oh my gosh, like, so now my right hand is taller, okay? Before it was this side that was taller, but now the fingers on my right hand are taller. Okay, if you don't believe me, try this yourself. I know you're probably just like, what gimmick is this? What did I just see? Try this yourself, okay? So what happened here is that my mind subconsciously made my right hand taller, or the fingers of my right hand taller than the fingers of my left hand. Even though like I looked at it, I'm using the lines on my wrist as, like I told you, like as a mark, and it just, after I told it to grow taller, that's what ended up happening, okay? So yeah, try this yourself, okay? If you think I am BSing you, just try this yourself. Let me know if this worked in the comments below. Yeah, and now I'm going to talk about, like, just what this was and, why this is powerful, why this is really helpful. So, this was just a trick that proves to you how powerful your mind is, how powerful affirmations are. I affirmed that my right hand would grow taller, and grow taller it did, okay? So yeah, and I kind of just want to talk about like the science behind manifestation. I have talked about this in a couple of my other videos, but I really do love reading about like the neuroscience behind this, and why this happens, and why affirmations are so powerful, or why scripting, or why, honestly, yeah, just affirmations in the form of scripting or saying them out loud. Personally, to me, scripting is the best, most foolproof way of manifesting. If you've been watching my channel, you know that. I've even talked about a lot of the things I've manifested. Yeah, yeah, like this is literally like what I script. I script a page every single day. Yeah, there are some days that I miss, but most days, I script a page. But anyways, I am digressing a little bit, but I do want to really talk about why it's very important to have positive thoughts, or like the neuroscience of positive thoughts to drastically change your life. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and get started. I have my iPad where I took notes here, so yeah, this is gonna get like really into the science, deep into the science. I mean, it's not really that deep. If you've taken like a neuroscience or maybe even biology class, you might know this, but yeah, let me just go ahead and get started. I ramble so much. So peptides are chemicals that get released every time you have a thought. Okay, your cells absorb the peptides that your brain releases and creates receptor sites to receive those peptides. So if you're used to negative thinking, you've already created receptor sites that absorb the peptides when you think negatively. So when you shift your way of thinking, it feels foreign since there are little to no receptor sites for those peptides. This is why persisting in your positive self-affirmations, self-concept affirmations, positive affirmations in general, is so important, so your brain can literally create new neural pathways and have your reality reflect that. Okay, that is why it is very important to think positively, and you will see changes in your 3D reality when you do that. I promise you. Okay, that is law, that is fact. Law of assumption states that whatever you assume will be true. And it's just you have to change your assumptions. A lot of the times when you don't manifest something, it's because you have receptor sites that are still receiving those thoughts that you have been ingrained to think since your childhood. Okay, so it's very important for you to change those thoughts. It is very important for you to change those beliefs and change those assumptions. Okay. There's also another quote by Joe Dispenza that I wanted to cite on here. Anytime you start to change something in your life, your body as the mind will signal your brain to be in control again. Okay, so it's like, when you have grown up thinking a certain way about something, when you've grown up with limiting beliefs, or you have certain assumptions about certain things, like for example, like you may have assumptions that like money is really hard to get, and you have to work really hard to be rich, financially successful and abundant. Maybe some limiting beliefs could even be like, oh, men cheat or women cheat, or like it's no one's loyal these days and everyone's just out for themselves, everyone's looking out for themselves. I mean, if these are things that you grew up hearing or you just internalized in some way, that is kind of what you're going to see most of, because those are your dominant assumptions. So the thing, for you to change that, for you to manifest money super easily, effortlessly, without doing too much work. I always say like work smart, not hard, or manifest that perfect relationship where your person is 100%, loyal to you. Manifest that, this perfect life with just pleasant people and pleasant experiences. All you have to do is change your dominant thoughts about that thing, okay? But let me go ahead and finish the quote. So actually, let me restart the quote. Kind of went, it wasn't really a tangent, it was pretty relevant. But yeah, anytime you start to change something in your life, your body as the mind will signal your brain to be in control again. The next thing you know, you might start to hear negative voices in your head. That's the body trying to unseat you so that it can be the mind again. Okay, and again, this is by Joe Dispenza. So it's like when you've grown up hearing certain things, or you've internalized these things, your brain like feels safe in a way. Like I guess that's like the easiest way to explain it. It's recreating those thoughts. Okay, like when you stay stuck in a certain emotion, even a lot of times when we feel sorry for ourselves, when we feel down, it's like it makes us feel like emotionally safe or whatever, right? So it's like, but unfortunately, that doesn't make you like feel good, right? And it may even manifest like negative experiences may even manifest because of those thought patterns, feeling sorry for yourself, being that victim mentality. So, your goal, your job is to really like change your perspective on whatever it is that, is going on that isn't serving you. Your goal is to change your mindset, to change your thought process, and to really, unseat these limiting beliefs that you have. Your goal is to just change your assumptions surrounding a certain thing. Okay, but I will say, it is okay to have human emotions, like I always call them, and feel anxious about certain things. Yes, you can still have doubts regarding certain things and still 100% manifest that. I feel like I am like the epitome of, that. Like I have manifested things regardless of not, believing in them. But, the reason I even manifested that is because somehow, some way, my dominant assumption was that I will get my desires. Okay, my dominant thoughts have been, for a long time, I really looked into delved deep into my history, kind of, did some, I guess like the spiritual people call it like, shadow work. And I really looked internally, and I realized that, growing up, I just always had this belief that everything will work out for me no matter what, okay? And that's something that has been my dominant beliefs, that has been my dominant assumption. But I have had, thoughts like, oh my gosh, I'm not qualified enough for this job, and like now I have a 6-figure job that I got double promoted in within 1 year. I've definitely had like my reservations regarding love, like, oh, all men are like this, or blah blah blah, like based on like past experiences that I've had that were also kind of shaped by like maybe some things that happened in my childhood. But like now like I'm manifesting much better quality men, just better quality relationships. And yeah, somehow some way like things always work out for me, and that's an assumption I've had since I could think, since I could form thoughts. Like even in high school, like there was a time where I thought I wouldn't get into college. I don't know why. I had almost like a 4.0 GPA, but I just doubted myself so much. But it's like, it just ended up happening. I went to like a pretty decent college. I got a really great job, and even like getting a job, like I was very scared. Like, oh my gosh, I don't know if I'm gonna be able to get a job. As I graduate, spoiler alert, I actually got a job like quarter before I graduated. And that's because I had this dominant assumption that things just always end up working out for me. Like even in high school, I just remembered that like I got into like a pretty good college. I got into like honestly the college that I wanted to go to. And I just kept revisiting that success story, and boom, I ended up getting this really amazing job that I'm still at. And it's like I've just been noticing so much like material success, and even just like emotional success and holistic success and abundance in my life. So yeah, that is something that I wanted to point out. I also did want to go ahead and read you a quote from this other book that I've been reading that I absolutely love. It's called Psycho-Cybernetics. Yeah, literal game changer. So there's a section here that talks about how your brain records success and failures, and it really just talks about how if you want to manifest something successful into your life, or manifest success, abundance, prosperity, or whatever it is, you have to like revisit the feeling that you got when you first manifested any success, any given success. A lot of times it doesn't even have to be in that category. Sometimes it does help, like for example, whenever I want to manifest a text, I think of the time that like I manifested a text from someone that like I really liked or wanted to hear from. A lot of times when I'm trying to manifest money, I think of the time where like I saw my first paycheck reflect in my bank account. I just like I revisit that memory, okay? And it really helps. It really helps. A lot of the times, when I want to manifest a text, like I do this thing where like I take screenshots whenever someone texts me or whenever someone snaps me, and it's like it's just in my screenshots folder. And it's like if I want to manifest a text from that person, again, I just look at that. Okay, it helps me visualize it better. And again, you don't have to do any of these like techniques. These are just things that help because I have the dominant assumption that doing these things will help. But yeah, it's just yeah, it's crazy how your mind works. And like a lot of this is just a lot of what you experience in your reality is a reflection of your subconscious. So it's very important to impress these things upon onto your subconscious. Okay, so that's the biggest thing. I feel like yeah, I've told you like the basics of manifestation in this video. You will hear me like repeat the same things again and again because it's really not that complicated. I know at times even I explain a lot, but it's super simple. Okay, it's literally just about being the right mindset, changing your perspective about certain things, and overall knowing that you are limitless. You are the operant power of your reality, and you can get anything you desire, literally anything. And the only person that you need to ask permission from is your subconscious. Okay, so yeah, I'm going to go ahead and finally read this quote from this section from Psycho-Cybernetics called How Your Brain Records Success and Failure. So such experts in the field of brain physiology as Dr. John C. Eccles and Sir Charles Sherrington explain that this is where you should listen. The human cortex is composed of some 10 billion neurons, each with numerous like axons or feelers or extension wires that form synapses, aka electrical connections between the neurons. When we think, remember, or imagine, these neurons discharge an electrical current that can be measured. When we learn something or experience something, a pattern of neurons forming a chain or a tattooing of a pattern is set up in brain tissue. This pattern is not in the nature of a physical groove or track, but more in the nature of an electrical track, blah, blah, blah. That's not really relevant, but the same neuron may thus be part of any number of separate and distinct patterns, making the brain's capacity to learn and remember almost limitless. Okay, so yeah, these patterns or engrams are stored away in brain tissue for future use and are reactivated or replayed when we remember a past experience. So this is the science behind whenever we like replay a past experience, how that really what happens in your brain. There's certain neurons that get fired, and you feel the same things that you experienced when you experienced that experience. Okay, yeah, I use experience so much, but that really is the key. That really is one major thing you can do to manifest whatever it is that you want. So yeah, that's like the gist of it. I don't want to get like too complex. I don't want to get like too nitty gritty about that, but like the one other sentence that I want to tell you is that, and if you can somehow furnish the spark to bring that action pattern in your life, the pattern about the engrams, and the whole thing about being tattooed on your brain, if you can bring that action pattern into life or replay it, it will execute itself. And yeah, that's basically it. It's manifestation in a nutshell. So yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and end the video right here. I really hope this helped. If you have any questions regarding manifestations, or there's something specific that you want to manifest, shoot your questions down in the comments below. I will try to answer them in the comments, or if not, I will address them in a future video. But yeah, do go ahead and do that, and I will end the reading right here. Or not reading, I will end the video right here. Thank you so much.